one. James Blagg, thank you very much for coming on to the Data Strategy Show. 66 questions. How are you doing today, James?
Hi, it's me. Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure, and I'm glad that eToro actually referred me to you. So even better. Right, so 66 questions. You know the drill. You've seen some of the episodes. Rapid fire questions. So the first question I'm going to ask you, James, is what's your wake up ritual?
Coffee. Coffee. I think it always starts with coffee.
An
And,
enormous
and
amount of coffee.
Absolutely. And at my age, a little bit of stretching as well. That's
Ah, okay, yes. Are you into yoga or anything like that, or is it just literally?
I do a little bit of Pilates actually every now and
Ah,
then. And I started to learn a bit of Kung Fu this summer, a
wow.
little bit of Wing Chun.
Wing Chun. Yeah, how's that going?
Every now and then I try and it's really interesting experience. Very meditative practice.
Yes.
So great for kind of a early morning routine, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, yeah. What would you say is your biggest strength?
Biggest strength. Oof. I'm an analytical thinker,
Hmm.
which kind of helps in the data world, I think.
Yes.
Uh, but I've also got the ability, I think, to communicate, some of those concepts to
Hmm.
others in the organisation or in the organisations I've worked in. So that's
Mm.
probably where I've excelled. Really, has been able to
Yeah.
explain complex stuff to folk that don't necessarily have the background in it.
Yep, and that is a very, very key strength to have in in the data world right now. What's the biggest learning experience you've ever had?
Ooh, um, just so many, so many.
You can just pick one.
A fair bit of time. I spent a fair bit of time at Lloyd's
Hmm.
during the HBOS integration, dealing with sort of capital reporting type data related data
Hmm.
provisioning.
Hmm.
So that was a fantastic learning opportunity to deal with large scale integrations
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
high profile kind of reporting throughout the financial crisis. It kind of
Hmm.
gave me some
That's
early grey
huge.
hair.
I can't even imagine the scale actually, because that's a massive merger, wasn't it? That was just
Yeah, yeah. It was created Europe's largest mortgage book in essence.
right. Wow.
Um, yeah, it was a formative experience.
Yeah,
Plenty of grey hair.
I can imagine. Something that you can take, but probably don't want to do it again, perhaps.
Well, somebody told me about the fun scale, and I think that's definitely kind of type three fun.
So what's the fun scale actually? Tell me about the fun, because I
Well,
don't know what a type three fun
right.
scale is.
So type one is stuff that is genuinely fun.
Okay.
Type two is stuff that, when you look back on it, it was fun.
Okay.
And type three is the kind of ironic, yeah, this is going to be
Yes.
fun.
I like that. Okay. Well, that's good. We've captured that now. Looking behind you, I can see the guitars. So, I'm going to ask you, are there any hobbies that you will never give up?
Yeah, playing the
Those.
guitar, which is an absolute passion of mine,
How
and
long have you been playing
been
for?
brilliant. Oh, longer than I care to remember, 20 odd years.
Wow. Wow.
Not, not that my ability kind of suggests I've got 20 years experience, right?
And what would you say is your style? What what do you like
Um,
playing?
yeah, I'm very much kind of a blues
Mm,
rock, kind of Eric Clapton, Gary Moore type style of music.
very
Something
cool.
where I can turn up the volume and just crank it out.
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, well, one day I'd like to hear one of those cranked out songs. What makes you angry?
Ooh, that's that's a good one. What makes me angry? I think what makes me angry is when I it's probably one of my biggest personality kind of challenges. I think when you see a problem and the
Hmm.
solution to the problem is so obvious,
Yes.
but others just don't see it in the same way,
Hmm.
either because they have a different perspective or they're disinclined to share your point of view,
Yeah.
and that's something that I find quite frustrating at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. It's a tough one when you're trying to, convince people of something and they're just not getting it. Yeah. Do you have a first memory of life?
First memory of life. Probably as a toddler running around our house. I grew up in Sheffield.
Okay.
So yeah, running around the drive or roller skating around the drive, probably very early toddler.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. What are you most excited about these days?
Excited. Probably my toddler. I've got
Ah,
a well, she's not a toddler anymore. She's 5 years old, and
oh, wonderful. Good age.
she is. Yeah, fascinating. Every day is something new from her, so it's continuous kind of interest and excitement and enjoyment.
That's brilliant. I love that. I remember those days. Mine's 11 now, and yeah, I do remember the 5-year-old. Um, but yeah, great times. And always something to. I think they're at that point where they're growing up a lot more and a lot quicker, and they just they you get a lot of feedback, which is sometimes it can be hilarious. Sometimes you can just be, yeah. What's
She's not
the
she's not shy. She's like a mum. She's not shy.
Oh, brilliant. Good. Well, that's the best way to be. Um, what's the best compliment you've ever received?
Ooh, I was once told that I had the best legs in the third year.
Brilliant.
That's one that stuck in my mind. Probably because who gave me the compliment. Um, I think uh, the best compliments for me, work related, are
Mm-hmm.
always the ones that come when you least expect them. In the
Mm.
moments of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember one of my bosses telling me, "Look, James, you've got really good judgment. You might not get the outcome you want, but you're usually right."
Yeah. Wonderful. What's a
And that
core? Yeah.
and,
Sorry.
and that I took as a huge compliment during what was a frustrating period.
No, that's really cool. And what's a cause that's important to you?
A cause.
Yeah.
Uh, well, it's an interesting one. I'll have to come back to that.
Okay. What makes you smile the most?
Family.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about my daughter.
Yes.
She's a constant source of entertainment. But just being with family,
Mm.
and, getting out and enjoying life and getting away from the desk.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's the perfect retreat. Now, we talked about the guitars, but do you have a secret talent? Something that nobody knows that you can do?
A secret talent. Uh, I can speak a bit of Sinhalese,
Oh,
which is
really?
yeah. My wife is Sri Lankan,
Oh,
so
wow.
I made it a mission to speak at least a few words of Sinhalese,
Go on,
so I
say
could
something.
impress the in-laws.
Go on, say something then.
Oh, and you put me on the spot now, aren't you? Mata Badigini,
What does that mean?
which means I'm hungry.
Ah, that is a great one for your mother-in-law, right?
Exactly. Followed by Harry Shoke, which means
Oh,
it's fantastic.
ah, perfect. That's all you need, really, don't you? That's all you need. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you weren't doing what you are doing now, what would you be doing?
I- I'd love to be doing something more creative.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting. When I started in data, it was as a developer, front end developer,
Yep.
which felt like a very creative experience or process. Now it's all spreadsheets, and
Yeah. Yeah.
my creativity comes from PowerPoint, I guess. But
Oh gosh. Yeah, that can be demoralizing sometimes, can't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. What are three things that you can't live without?
oh, I don't know. Good company, good wine, and a good guitar.
Yep. Perfect. Perfect. What fictional character would you want to be?
Fictional character. Uh, Danny, the champion of the world.
Where's that from?
Roald Dahl. It's one of his stories.
Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. I like that. And
But it's about a little boy and his dad who go off and do some pheasant poaching. Fantastic story when I was a little boy.
I'll have to go back to my daughter's books 'cause I'll see if she's read that or not. What was the last show that you binge watched?
Uh, Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. And what's the most adventurous thing that you've done in your life?
I walked the Incurve Trail.
Oh, amazing. How was that? How long did that
Uh,
take you?
it was tiring. It took about 4 days.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, through Cuzco and across to Machu Picchu, and it saps your breath. Every
Yeah,
step
because high
is kind of
altitudes. Yeah, yeah.
but amazing experience.
Incredible. That I've never heard. I don't know if I know anybody who's done that, but now I do. How would you define yourself in 3 words?
Uh, um, I, I'm hesitating to say not to say boring.
You don't need
I don't
to.
know. I'm open-minded, easygoing, and I don't know. Sometimes
Creative.
boring.
No,
Creative.
no, not at all. Creative, creating. What's the biggest surprise you've had this year?
Surprise this year. Gosh, I don't know. Plenty of moments I wish I'd not had, probably.
I won't ask that question then. What is there anything that is currently inspiring you in the data world right now?
Um, Inspiring me in the data world. I, see, I hear a lot about data mesh and data fabric, and to be honest, they're not really concepts that I've really got to got to grips with or b really invested a lot of time in.
Hmm.
But I'm keen to kind of find out a bit more about that sort of stuff. Really, I think I
Yeah,
think um, I think the key for me is just trying to work out. When I think about data, it's the technology side of it is fantastic, and you can invest a lot of time and energy on that.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
have to spend more time now thinking about actually what the business problems are, and really getting closer to those business problems rather than
Hmm.
thinking about the technology side of stuff. So probably spend more time thinking about that than I do the other
Yeah.
side.
I actually agree with you because I think technology, as I always say, is quite easy in terms of, delivering relatively easy, but it's really driving out those business results and outcomes, and making sure you can deliver on that, and I think that's the hardest part that a lot of, you know, companies feel when they're attempting to get the data, um, becoming data driven or whatever you want to call it. I don't particularly like that word, but it just came to mind. Anyway, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, best piece of advice. Best piece of advice would be try 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 everything.
Oh, good.
Actually, no. Better piece of advice. Always say yes,
Yeah.
and then go and find out how to do it afterwards.
I think isn't that something that Richard Branson you sort of wrote a book about? Just say yes, and then I can't remember what the name of the book was, but
Is that
say
right?
yes and
I
do
think
it.
in my early career, I started contracting,
Hmm.
and I always remember somebody said that to me. Said, look, if somebody asks you, can you do something? Don't say no. Just say yes, and then go and find out how to do it.
Fantastic. Do you remember the moment that your career completely changed?
Probably, yeah, yeah. In October 2004, I think it was,
Hmm.
when the end of my contracting period and the start of kind of permanent employment, really.
Okay.
I'd had a great career as a contractor,
Yeah.
but started working in a fantastic team at Lloyd's, and really then sort of kind of switched to being a salaried kind of employee. You might be able to.
You've got a singer there. She can sing. Definitely. There you go. You form a little
Yeah,
band.
yeah, yeah. There's hope in that. But that was the turning point for me. Yeah.
That's great. And that's interesting because a lot of people stay with contracting and like to have that flexibility. What made you go back into sort of full-time corporate then?
The feeling of building something and
Mm,
participating in something
mm-hmm,
and creating a legacy.
mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
something that's really close to my heart.
Yeah,
Whilst there's baggage that comes with that,
sure.
for any organisation, I
Mm.
think the legacy that you create outweighs the pain that you sometimes go on.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah. It's a lonely road sometimes as a contractor. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Quite tempting sometimes when you're having a lot of pain in the
Mm-hmm,
organisation.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd much rather work towards something.
Yep, yep, agreed. What makes you feel accomplished?
Being able to solve problems for other people, and that's probably one of the reasons I moved into data in the first place was being able to see business problems
Mm-hmm.
and finding niche ways to kind of solve them. But I think as your career develops and you become more senior, those business problems become harder to
Yes,
crack, don't they?
true. What three words would you describe living in the UK?
Oh, gre- well, I've been out in Abergavenny all morning, so I'd have to say green, pleasant land.
Perfect, perfect. Are you an optimist or a pessimist?
I like to think I'm an optimist with some pessimistic traits every now and then.
I like that. Perfect.
I think
Uh,
I think
sorry,
you've got
go
to
on.
be. I think you've got to be open minded. You've got to be open minded. Otherwise, you just drive yourself nuts, haven't you? And
Yeah,
you've got to hope that people have the best interests and stuff. So
absolutely. I agree on that for sure. What's heavily played on your music playlist right now?
uh, do you know what? When I need to get a bit of work done, I normally stick my headphones on
Hmm.
and put on a bit of heavy metal. Uh,
Heavy metal to get your work done.
I don't know why, but something in my brain just gets the concentration just kicks in. So I've been listening to a lot of Iron Maiden recently.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be able to do anything if I was listening to that.
Yeah,
That is
I don't know why.
incredible.
I love a bit of heavy metal, but it's not my normal kind of listening taste and stuff. But
Yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah.
need some work done, that's my default
Wow.
setting.
Wow, that is quite extraordinary. What three things are at the top of your bucket list?
Bucket list. Well, I'd love to go and sit on a beach in the Maldives
Hmm.
in the next 3 months.
Yep, sounds
So
good.
that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd love to start some sailing, take up
Hmm.
sailing, and I've got this kind of vision of me cruising around the Mediterranean, some Greek islands,
Oh, I love it.
just jumping off the boat into the water. So
That's a wonderful thing to do. Yeah.
yeah, and I wanted my wife's Sri Lankan, and I want to spend a lot more time in Sri Lanka and visit
Hmm.
all the different places that it's got to offer. So
Yeah. Beautiful country. Beautiful, beautiful
mm,
country. Yeah, I was there about 3 or 4 years ago. A wonderful place. And really, really lovely people actually. I was taken aback by the welcome and the kind of, just how everybody's so kind. Yeah, it was I really enjoyed it actually. Wonderful place. I need to go back there myself as well. So, hmm. Um, what's your guilty pleasure?
uh, my guilty pleasure is a glass of wine and a homemade pizza.
Oh, perfect. And who's that home? Do you make it? And what's your favorite pizza?
Well, so when I talk about being creative, that's my opportunity to get creative. So I make my own pizzas and I don't know with whatever's to hand, bit of ham, bit of mushroom, bit
Fantastic.
of cheese.
That is brilliant.
I,
What book did you most recently finish?
what book did I finish? Uh, Don Winslow,
Don
The
Winslow.
Cartel. Yeah,
Okay.
he's an author who writes about the drug wars in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Fascinating.
fiction, but incredibly detailed
Wow.
piece of writing.
So did you like Narcos then?
Yeah, and I think that series is based on his writings.
Ah, got you. Right. I love
So,
that.
yeah, fascinating insight into
Mm.
what is clearly quite a murky and terrible kind of
Yes.
but yeah, fascinating insight.
Mm. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
Don't worry so much. Be yourself and um, enjoy enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Great advice. If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
Ooh, who would it be? It would have to be BB King, even though he's
BB
gone.
King. Fantastic.
Even though he's gone, right? In his
Yeah.
heyday, I would love to have been, him.
That must be some life that he led.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him in concert once, and I was just amazed by. He's very famous for playing guitar,
Yeah.
but actually,
Yeah.
his real talent is storytelling,
Oh wow.
and the
Okay.
guitar is just kind of a crutch really, or support in that
An
process.
enabler for that. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Brilliant.
What's the one thing you've always wanted to try, but you just haven't got around to it?
Uh, Probably the sailing piece, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you had to change something in the world right now, what would it be?
Ooh, well, don't know. Could go down the political route or the. I don't know. I wish. I don't know. Be careful what I say here, but I wish we could turn back the kind of Brexit clock, but we
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't. Sadly.
We are where we are now. We just got to try and muster our way forward.
Hmm.
If you could resurrect one person from history and put them in the world today, who would it be?
Ooh. One person from. I don't know. Who's interesting? Isn't Bard Kingdom Brunel?
Oh
I
yeah.
I live in Bristol, so he's a local lad. I
Yeah.
think he would be. He'd look at the technology we have available today, and he'd probably come up with some interesting kind of use cases for it.
I bet he would. Yeah, that's actually a really interesting person to bring back. What's the one thing you wish you knew at the age of 19?
That my judgment was sound, and that I've got all the kind of skill, all the kind of tools in the tool bag I need to be successful, and not to worry about it so much.
Yeah, that's brilliant because we always underestimate ourselves, don't we, when we're about that age. Um,
Absolutely.
if you could offer one piece of advice to upcoming data leaders, what would it be?
Spend more time with the spend. If you split your time out, spend at least 50% of your time out in the business,
Hmm.
talking to talking to the people who you're trying to solve problems for,
Yeah,
and get them on side, and make sure that your capability is built and honed to service their needs.
perfect. Great advice. Where's the best vacation you've ever taken?
Uh, well, Peru was pretty cool actually on the Inca Trail, but
Hmm.
probably other than that, uh, Southeast Asia. So I travelled around sort of Laos and Cambodia and
Hmm.
Vietnam.
Hmm.
That was amazing. A real kind of sensory overload.
Wow, I bet. Yeah, I haven't been there actually, but yeah, it sounds like it. I've heard the same thing. What's one city you've always dreamed of traveling to?
Uh, uh, Tokyo.
Mm, mm. I
I
heard it's a
imagine that
cra
was quite an experience.
I hear it's quite a crazy place actually. Crazy and then calm.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. What's the best lesson your parents ever taught you?
Uh, just stand up for myself. I think
Mm,
to
mm.
to yeah to give as good as you get, I guess.
Yep. Good advice. Very, very good advice. What's your favorite food?
Oh, European food, Italian food probably. I do like a nice bit of pizza or some pasta
Yeah.
or a good steak.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's a movie that made you cry?
God, now you put me. See nowadays, now I'm a dad. It's the most unexpected things like
Yes,
the Christmas Nativity film or something stupid like that.
I agree with you there because as soon as you become a dad, something changes. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I get emotional quite quickly nowadays.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Well, I'm glad I found someone else who has the same feeling. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
Uh, Biggest inspiration. My dad. I think
Mm,
my whole life
mm,
I've wanted to, he was successful in his career, in his line.
yeah,
I've always wanted to, to live up to, the kind of benchmark that he set, really. So
yeah. Wonderful,
he's my hero, really.
wonderful. I can see there's a bit of light streaming in behind you. So what can you see from your window?
I can see green fields.
Mm.
Normally there's some sheep running around out there, but none today. So we're just on the edge of the Cotswolds. So
Oh,
kind of
wow. You're very lucky. Very,
yes,
very
yeah,
lucky.
absolutely.
Yeah. What's something you still possess from your childhood?
My treasured possession is a Manchester United football annual
Yeah.
signed by half the 1990 FA Cup winning squad.
Wow. That is cool. And is that
Yeah.
framed somewhere?
No, it's on the bookshelf down there somewhere. But
Uh-huh.
they were staying at a hotel just opposite our house when we lived in Sheffield, and I nipped up to the hotel and worked my way around the squad getting all the autographs. So
That's
it was good.
great. I love that. That's just such a brilliant, you're just a kid. You just walk in and say, "Hey, sign my what was it? Was it the was it a Panini thing or the stickers
It
and
was, it
no?
was like an official history of Manchester United.
Ah,
So,
okay.
but, but what happened was that it was a Sunday morning, and my dad was out washing the car at about 7:30, and
Mm-hmm.
two of the players walked past the house,
Right.
and my dad said, ran up and woke me up, and he said, "Get out and get up to the hotel." And of course, as a 10-year-old kid,
Yeah.
it's like all your dreams would ever come true all at once.
Of course. I love that. That is brilliant. Well, I'm glad I bet you're glad you got up and went and did it.
Absolutely.
What's a superpower you wish you had?
the, 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 abi- the ability to make people see the world from my perspective.
That's brilliant. You will see it from my perspective. You will give me that budget. You will give me that team. Oh,
Maybe
brilliant.
that's it. Maybe some hypnosis.
Yeah. What's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years' time?
Mm, Working probably.
Yep. That's fair
Yeah.
enough. That's fair enough. Looking back on your life, is there anything you would have done differently?
I think at a macro level, probably not. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder. I kind of fell into a technology-related career.
Yeah.
Um, I do wonder whether if coming out of university, if I'd chosen a more creative industry or career,
Mm-hmm.
whether I would have kind of whether I would have made that a success or
Sure.
not. So,
Sure. Sure. Um, which movie makes you laugh the hardest?
mm, oh, do you know? I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Goonies.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Not this kind of a real kind of slapstick comedy, but that's one that gets me every time, really.
Yeah. 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 And that's more on the radio, right?
No. The Goonies was a kids' film
Oh,
from
the
kind of
kids' film. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Okay. The kids, yes, the American kids film. I get it. Yeah, yeah.
I
It,
do love actually the movies that really do make me laugh are the 80s kind of comedy movies like Caddyshack and
oh yeah.
uh, all the Chevy Chase kind of movies.
Oh, they were the international vacation movies, or what were they?
Yeah, National Lampoons. Yeah, yeah,
That's
they
it,
were.
National Lampoon's Vacation. God, my brain today is terrible. Um, if you could teach one subject in school or college or university, what would it be?
History, probably.
Mm.
Yeah, I love history, bit of geography as well, but history is my passion.
Is there any kind of history that is specific period in time, or?
Uh, I studied American history
Oh
at
wow.
university and
Hmm.
politics,
Hmm.
completely unrelated to data.
Well, and that's how you ended up in data, you know.
Well, there you go, there you go. So yeah, something Cold War kind of
Oh,
U.S. history.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very fascinating, actually. Um, what's a skill you're currently working on mastering? I mean, apart from the guitar, don't bring that into the equation now.
Uh, I like to do a little bit of woodworking.
Ah, do you have a woodwork shop?
I've got a garage,
You got a
so
garage.
nothing that sophisticated. But
Okay.
I've made a little bit of furniture for the for the back garden.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yeah, I'm not sure anybody will buy it, but it does us,
I think it's probably more about the meditative aspect and the focus. I think that's yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. What three words best describe your leadership style?
Ooh, best three words. Put me on the spot now. But we might have to come back to that one if you don't mind.
Okay, all right, no problem. I shall mark that one for now. What is what are currently your top three data challenges?
Oh, top three data challenges. Culture, number
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Working out how to develop the right culture
Yep.
in our organisation
Yep.
um, to unlock this data-driven kind of concept and
Mm-hmm.
culture that everyone's kind of looking for. So that's number one. How do we do that without
Mm-hmm.
significant investment?
Yep.
Number two, how do we get the right throughput in
Okay.
data provisioning for analytics?
Yep.
And number three, how do we how do we keep pace with the continuing raft of regulatory reporting
Oh,
changes?
oh my goodness. Yeah. So you're also have insurance products as well, don't you? So you've now got the new FCA
Yeah,
rules for
we,
customer care and duty and pricing and vulnerability, and I
yes,
mean
yes,
that's
thanks for all that.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's huge, you know.
It,
Yeah.
it, I mean, the challenge for us is really, how do you manage that kind of level of demand whilst also
Mm,
trying to unlock business value?
yeah.
And that's a real kind of balancing act, really.
Yeah.
I'd love to be doing more on the value stuff so we can generate returns for our customers and our members. Um, but having to deal with that kind of raft of regulatory commitment is a real challenge.
Yeah. No, it's pretty tough. I mean, we have some insurance clients who are going through the same thing, and that's why just reading those documents and the ambiguity in some of those things, it's just you
Mm.
sort of scratch your head and say, hang on, what do you really need? And it's
We're
yeah.
placing quite a lot of hope in the bank's digital regulatory reporting kind of
Uh-huh.
concept.
Yep.
If that can start to codify some of those rules and
Oh yes,
peel
yes, that's right. Yeah, because
peel
the
back
Bank of
the kind of
yeah.
reporting requirements, then that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, because I think the Bank of England is coming up with some standards for that, aren't they?
That's
Yeah,
right, yeah,
yeah,
transformation program going on, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's fascinating that is. I actually think that's the right move to do that for sure, for sure. Um, what is something that recently moved you?
Uh, Moves me. Um, I should
Stumped you.
have thought of these kind of topics, shouldn't I? No, I think so. Today I've been out with my team volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing working with a local charity in South Wales that's trying to reforest a lot of the common uplands in
Mm-hmm.
hill country outside, Brecon Beacons.
Mm-hmm.
And just listening to the passion that those guys have in the work that they're trying to do, and
Yeah.
the motivation for it is fantastic. Um,
Wonderful.
and it's all volunteer, all volunteer done. They planted 160,000 trees in the last couple of years.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow,
hundreds of thousands.
160,000.
Yeah, yeah, just on one hillside alone.
That really is huge. I mean, and how many of the volunteers are there in that,
Well, I think they rely on kind of organisations
oh,
like ours
to come
to
in
support.
and do that. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but we
Wow.
spend the day gathering acorns so they can kind of pot them up and get them ready for
Yeah.
planting.
Brilliant. Oh, that's very cool, actually. But 160,000. Wonderful, wonderful work. What's the one thing you had to learn the hard way?
Oh, it's about building consensus for ideas and for change. Motivation
Mm,
for change, reasons for
mm-hmm.
change. After you've proposed a strategy or a piece of work, and you've taken a beating or
Yeah.
a bruising. Uh, I've certainly been through that cycle a couple of times now, so
Yeah.
totally know.
So you're getting less of a beating now then.
Well, yeah, yeah, it gets easier and easier, I think. Well, either that or you become numb to it. I don't know.
Oh God. How do you handle pressure in your career?
Uh, so the pressure's inevitable, I
Mm,
think.
mm,
So it's about having the right coping mechanisms, and
mm-hmm.
exercise is a key one for me.
Yep.
Try and get out on my bike or you know other forms, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I can. Having an outlet
Oh
like playing
yes.
the guitar,
Yeah.
and that's why working from home is such a fantastic thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but and then spending time with family, and they're
Mm,
pretty good at keeping me grounded. So
yeah.
that's kind of a really good outlet as well.
Yeah. I agree with that. What's something you notice about someone when you first meet them?
Uh, hmm. I think their openness
Uh-huh.
and willingness to participate in a conversation, and
Yep.
the level of engagement, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. What's something that you still like to learn?
Uh, History.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fascinated by things that happened in the past, and
Yeah.
what we can learn from them. And
Yeah.
there's such a depth of history for humanity.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
always something to learn.
Well, you talked about American history earlier, but is there a particular book that you're reading on history at the moment that's more, you know, that's different, or is it all just
Um,
focused on American history?
Do you know, the one I read that was really interesting was, I can't remember the guy's name who wrote it, or what it was called actually. It wasn't helpful, but it's quite a well known. Oh, Homo sapiens, was it?
Oh yes, Homo sapiens. Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
just the sheer timeline of
Yes.
that story, or that
Mm-hmm.
study is
Mm-hmm.
immense. You realise how small a part we're currently in.
Yeah. True. I think it's by I'm just looking at my shelf if it's by the Israeli by an Israeli writer. Yeah, yeah, I remember. I tell you that there's just coming to history and um something. I don't know if you've read it, but there's a book called Prisoners of Geography.
I've heard that. I've heard of it. I've not read it.
And I know the title's got. I know you said you like geography, but I think it's very cool because it's got the geographical and historical view of Asia, Europe, Americas, and it's fascinating. I mean, it's a very quick book to read, but really gives you like a fundamental position on all of those regions and how they developed and what the various issues were. So I thought that was brilliant from a history perspective as well. Well, I'm going to ask you the question that you defaulted on. What three words best describe your leadership style?
Uh, so calm, collective, considered.
Perfect. The three C's. My final question to you, James. What would you like to be remembered for?
Solving the problems that haven't been solved.
Great. I love it. James Blagg, thank you so much for being on the Data Strategy Show. It's been a real pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, Samir. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
That's great.